Hey guys, what is up? So today I want to talk to you guys about the auction house, farming gold, and just overall phase 1 and kind of prioritizing your money and where you should be kind of spending money and how you can be earning money. So let's get right into things. First, before I start, we should probably look at getting a auction house add-on, especially if you're on a larger server where you have pages and pages of one stack of cloth or one stack of leather. Auction house add-ons are going to help you search certain items and quickly find the best deals and help you post things with ease. It's just a lifesaver. I use AUX or AUX, but there are several auction house add-ons that are out there, so you just kind of have to pick and choose which one you like and the features that you enjoy with each. So, getting right into the auction house, I have probably made close to 1,200 gold so far on my time in Classic. However, I've spent almost all of my gold. I think I have around 200 gold right now between all my characters. And this is mainly because I've been buying a lot of items and a lot of materials. This is a great time to do that, as there are tons and tons of people leveling up. There will never be another time in Classic WoW where there's this many people leveling. So while people are leveling up, a lot of people are choosing gathering professions like mining, herbalism, or skinning. So those materials on the auction house are going for very, very cheap. And then also, so many people are leveling up that a lot of blues and greens are dropping for these players at lower levels. So you can scoop up quote unquote twink items for the level 19, 29, 39, and even 49 bracket for a really, really good price. I currently have, I don't even know, several 16 slot bags full of twink items, mainly at the level 19 bracket. I've been buying these items for so cheap. I've gotten several pieces that go for 20, 30, 40 gold when battlegrounds will come out, and twinks are often spending this kind of money on these items, and I've been buying them for 1 to 2 gold each. So I have lots of twink items in my bags, and I will be obviously posting these on the auction house once twinking becomes more popular in phase 3, when things like Warsong Gulch are out. Now, moving on from twink items, we also have resistance items. So obviously right now Molten Core is out, and fire resist gear is going for a lot of gold. People are willing to pay this much because they're wanting to clear the raids. Obviously, especially things like rings with nature resistance, and also plate gear with fire resistance is going for a lot right now. However, one thing that people don't really take into consideration is that melee are going to need a lot of nature resistance for AQ when AQ comes out. Now, this is a long ways away. However, you can easily just do a quick nature resistance search with an auction house add-on to check for any nature resistance gear just each day when you log on. And I've been able to snag up several high-level nature resistance pieces for almost nothing on the auction house. So definitely keep an eye out for these. So then the next thing we should talk about probably is profession materials. So this is not a private server anymore. These characters that you create are around to stay. So if you have any plans on creating alts or other characters in the future, and you have an idea of professions that you want to pursue on these characters, it could be a good idea to pick up a lot of materials right now, as materials are almost going for vendor price. I've been leveling herbalism on my druid, and I've actually been sending all of those herbs off to an alt that I plan on picking up alchemy with, because really, at this point, there is no real good reason to be selling these herbs on the auction house unless they're very high level herbs, because the herbs that you get from between 1 to probably 200 herbalism, the prices are just almost vendor price on the auction house. So this is a great time for you to be getting those herbs from the auction house and stockpiling them on alts or characters that you plan to level up professions with. I've been doing this with not only herbalism, I've been doing this also with skinning, and then I've also been doing this with mining for engineering later on. So you're probably asking yourself, well, if profession materials aren't going for very much, then how can I make gold? Well, not all profession materials are going for cheap. Obviously, if you can get someone to create greater fire protection potions or major mana potions, those are all going for a lot of gold right now on the auction house, as raiders need them to progress through Molten Core and also to clear Oni. Now, one thing that you can make a lot of gold on right now that everyone needs are essences of earth, air, water, and fire. I've found for me the best thing to be farming is essence of water, as essences of air and earth, the elementals are immune to my nature abilities, which is kind of a pain as I'm not feral right now. If you are obviously a feral druid or a different class, you could farm in Silithus. You could be farming essences of air or essences of earth, which these are going for a lot of gold on my server, and most servers they should be going for a lot of gold, as a lot of mages are trying to get them for their robes. Also, warlocks are going for essences of undeath for their robes, and also there's the enchants for your weapon that also need these essences. So definitely a good idea is farming essences. And then I've also been farming Fellcloth while I've been getting my demonic runes for raiding, and those also have been selling from anywhere between 3 to 6 gold, just kind of depending on how many are listed at the moment. So those are the main farms that I've been doing to make gold. Obviously, if you're trying to get your best in slot items for raiding, you can make a pretty good amount of gold just by clearing dungeons to get these pieces of gear that you need anyways. You obviously get a lot of rune cloth, you get a lot of grays that sell well, and you obviously are looting silver on every single mob. So dungeon grinding for your best in slot gear if you're 60 is also a great way of making gold. Overall, that's kind of my tips so far on gold making. One thing that I've been being asked a lot recently is about Mardon farming, and does it work as a druid? Well, I have some good news and some bad news. The good news is you can do the Mardon farm as a druid. The bad news is it's not easy, and it's not as easy as we once thought it was on private servers. So Princess does a kind of like a fart cloud that pushes melee back, and on private servers she would just do this periodically, but on on classic servers the only way that she will actually do this fart cloud is if she is meleeed by a player or a pet. So warlocks can do this farm because they have the Voidwalker. Hunters can do this farm even without a pet just because they have aspect of the cheetah, so they can stay far enough away as long as they're watching out for the boulder. But overall, this is a very annoying fight to do on a druid because you don't have a pet class. A pet, or you don't have any ability to melee her. If you're selling runs to rogues or melee classes, you can ask them to step in and auto attack her here and there to trigger that. But this is just one other thing that you're going to have to kind of manage, is another player stepping in. So you could 2-man farm this, but the gold obviously per hour would go down a lot. So your next best bet is to use swift speed potions. So swiftness potions do work. However, you have to be kind of careful because you only have one and then it obviously goes on cooldown. So you can use your dash in cat form, you can use a swiftness potion, and with both of those together, you can stay far enough away from her to kill her. I have tested it and it does work. Overall, though, the gold per hour and just kind of the hassle of doing it as a druid isn't really worth it, in my opinion. I would stick to different farms. Obviously, if you're a hunter or a warlock, have at it. Mardon Farming is still really, really strong. Obviously, I look forward to Phase 2, being able to get into Dire Maul, farming Lashers, and also doing Tribute Runs Stealth Group. So that's what I'm looking forward in Phase 2 for gold farming. For now, I'll probably stick with, farming my essences, farming up herbs, and hopefully they start going for a little bit more on the auction house. And beyond that, guys, gold farming in Phase 1 is obviously just a very important thing because this will set you up for the rest of the game. So make sure you're sticking on top of, searching for good things on the auction house. You can make a lot of gold just by, watching the auction house and watching prices fluctuate. Like I said, fell cloth alone has been going from at times 3 gold, and then at other times it's around 6 or 7 gold. So if you just watch when you post things, you can capitalize on kind of the ebb and flow, no pun intended, of the auction house, and you can kind of set yourself up for success that way. So hopefully this video was useful for you guys. I hope you're all making some gold in Classic. I know it kind of can be difficult as so many things are needed in Phase 1, and you really do need to farm a lot of gold. Hope you guys have been having a lot of fun. Classic has lived up to my expectations, and I've really been enjoying it. So I hope you guys have been as well. We're back on track with our video schedule, so here's our Monday upload, and I will see you guys again on Wednesday. Take care.